Hi everybody, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to be unboxing Wave 2 of Pacific Rim Extinction. This time we're going to look at Crimson Typhoon Jaeger expansion. So Pacific Rim Extinction was a game that was kickstarted several years ago, I believe 2018, 2019, maybe something like that. The first wave came out with the core game and 3 or 4 expansions, and it was a pretty fun game, but it felt incomplete at the time. The system, you know, had promise, but we didn't have a lot. Similar to the way I felt when X-Wing first came out, and there were just, you know, a half dozen ships you could fly. Fun game, but it felt like there was so much more in the pipe. So that's kind of how I felt about this. So this is the first of the Wave 2s that I'm going to be unboxing and showing you today. So if you didn't see, I have a unboxing of the Kickstarter where we just open it up and see everything that came. But here we're going to take an individual look at each one of these, talk about the box, the miniature, and how it plays in the game. Alright, so obviously it's a pretty big box for the miniature you get. You see the guy in there is only really like a quarter of the size of the box. Not sure why the box is so huge, but nevertheless it's pretty cool. Packaging is good. Here we see on the back we have the contents. We have one Crimson Typhoon Jaeger model, one Crimson Typhoon Con Pod, 6 Crimson Typhoon action cards, 3 Jaeger pilot cards, 3 Jaeger upgrade cards, 1 charge counter, 1 ammo counter. And then it shows you what other things are available. It also has a blurb about Crimson Typhoon. The Street Fighter Crimson Typhoon storms into battle, piloted by the Wei-Tang triplets. Crimson Typhoon uses the Thundercloud formation to attack with her deadly triple saws. Alright, and that's obviously a CGI render of that miniature. So let's go ahead and open this up. And see what we get here. So all of these kind of come in a clamshell, kind of half clamshell. The cards are kind of in a clamshell, but the model itself is just kind of clipped and tied in there. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll open this and continue looking. We have our mech. This also pops open, and we have access to our cards and tokens. That will go over there. Alright, so this is Crimson Typhoon. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the franchise or just kind of know it in passing, Crimson Typhoon was in the first movie. It's one of the 3 kind of mechs that got a lot of press beforehand. You know, they showed it off because it's a pretty cool design. And then it was used in the last half of the movie, kind of in the what is it, the Battle of Hong Kong Harbor. Spoiler alert, so if you haven't seen the movie, I'll spoil it right now. Crimson Typhoon gets destroyed very quickly by Otachi, not before getting in a few good licks though. Alright, so the miniature itself looks really good. And it's got kind of a plasticky sheen to it. I'm not sure if they painted directly on the plastic or if that's painted, but it's not bad. You can see the 3 arms there, which makes this guy so interesting. Then we have the cards. Sure, there we go. So we've got tokens for the Con Pod. So those are the Con Pod. If you guys are unfamiliar with the game, well, it's got a little glare to it. Let's see what we can do here. So these tokens are for tracking your ammo and your energy. Okay, let's see if we can. Then we have, these are like upgrades for the machine. You could put one of them on a Jaeger, so it could go there. You have ultimate effort, maneuvering jets, which is a Crimson Typhoon only, and Tri-Sun Horizon DOS, which is Crimson Typhoon only. So there's two that are specific to Crimson Typhoon and one generic one that you could use anywhere, you know, on any Jaeger in the set. Okay, so you have those three, which are kind of cool. Then you have 3 pilot cards, Yu Wei, Jin Wei, and Xie Ling Wei. And then these guys have their specialties. And they fit on the card right there. In theory, you could put different pilots in here if their little letters here match up. The more that match up, the more like special abilities of the pilots you'll be able to use, which is a cool way to reflect the drift. Then you have the cards, which kind of control your Jaeger in the game. So you have Power Surge, which you gain full charge or run, Deep Drift, which I think is pretty generic. Cost 2 charge, activate pilot abilities, and then make a melee attack, tactical action, fire plasma caster, jet kick, which is sounds pretty cool, and thundercloud formation. Cost 1 ammo, and it's a melee attack. If you roll 1 or more triggers, triggers is one of the types of die faces. On this attack, you may make a second melee attack. If you roll 2 or more triggers on your second melee attack, you may make a third melee attack. Wow, that's pretty awesome. And the way this game works also is as they're damaged, you draw one of these hands as a damage marker. As I said earlier, Crimson Typhoon can take 3 structure points before it's destroyed. So it could have up to 3 damage on it. Each one of these damage not only removes, you know, if this is drawn as your damage card, not only can you no longer do the thundercloud formation, but you have the damage, shattered saw blade, no additional effect. So things like that. So it adds a little bit of flavor to your mech or your Jaeger as it's getting damaged. It loses certain abilities, which is pretty realistic, a good way to have it. Because the other thing to look at here are these stats. Speed is green, skill, attack, and armor. And then that's the number of points it costs in game. So it costs 5 points base for using this Jaeger, and then upgrade cards might add more, or pilots might add more to it. So 5 points is pretty average, I think. I've got Gypsy Avengers card right here who came in the starter box, and you can see that Crimson Typhoon is faster, doesn't produce enough as much energy, has more attack dice, or attack modifier 4 versus 2, and more armor while being 1 point less, which is pretty interesting. So they both have the same number of damage slots, and it looks like Crimson Typhoon has more energy down here, as well as the same number of ammo. But anyway, there you go, guys. That's kind of a look at the Crimson Typhoon. It looks like she's going to be an interesting one in the game. She's bringing something different, I think, with the ability to use 3 pilots in the con pod instead of just 2. Might be able to use more special abilities. maybe not. And it looks like she's got good melee numbers, which is always pretty good. With that thundercloud formation, if you could trigger off that and deal 2 additional attacks in 1 round, I think that would be pretty awesome. Alright, last up, we'll just do a beauty pass of this. I guess look at this model a little bit more. Looks really good. Let's compare the fit and finish to one of the Wave 1 models. This one is the other red one, I forget, Saber Athena, which I did have some trouble with, just because you can kind of see if these fins are actually bent. This plastic is really shiny. I mean, I think this one looks a lot better than this one. And the designs are cool for the second one, at least for this Jaeger. But I think I'm liking the fit and finish on this one better. Yeah. The decals look really nice. I don't know if you can see that on the chest, or paint application. And it has gold trim here along the sides, which is really nice. That looks really good. Whereas this one's just kind of plain. With the lightsaber. Or beam saber, or whatever it is. Alright, well, there you go, guys. That's a look at Crimson Typhoon. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do consider giving us a like and subscribe. Check our channel for more Pacific Rim Extinction coverage as we continue to unbox more and more of the Wave 2 stuff, as well as we'll probably get a battle report or 2 in on the channel at some point as well. Thanks for watching, and keep on wargaming.